So I'm a big fan of Death Battle. I think we all know that at this point, and I decided to talk about Madara vs. Aizen because Madara vs. Aizen is big battle that everyone loves and everyone talks about because it's so fun and stupid. So Madara vs. Aizen came out, I'm pretty sure 12/5. It was on Monday, but I don't remember whether or not. It was the 6th. Yeah, 6th of December. And it was really good. I enjoyed it. I watched it early with friends, and it was really fun to watch. There's definitely some problems that they could have fixed, but overall, I think they not only did a good job with analyzing both Madara and Aizen, but the animation itself and giving them a lot of light. There are a couple of problems with this before. For example, Aizen, I think, didn't get as much light as he did in the episode. I think they could have done a little bit more with him. And in the storyboards, he did talk a bit more, and I think if that was in there, I think the episode would have definitely been a bit better. But the episode's like for me, like an 8 or 9 out of 10. So like, I don't know. Maybe it would have been like a 9.5 or like a definitive 9. But for me right now, it's an 8.5 or 9 out of 10 for me. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about the research portion of Madara vs. Aizen and how everyone and their mother was just like bias Death Battle. I hate Death Battle. So a lot of people got mad that Madara won the Death Battle, and people were like, oh yeah, Naruto's more popular than Bleach, so obviously they would have Madara win. And that's kind of dumb to say, because for one thing, Death Battle has not really done the most popular thing, like at all. Like for example, if they were going to do the most popular thing, then Goku would have won against Superman twice, but he didn't. If they were doing the most popular thing, then Blake would have lost against Mikasa, but she didn't. There is literally a side series where you vote and whoever is the most popular wins. I know, like, it makes sense in your head, like, oh yeah, they obviously picked the most popular character, but like, they literally have a side series for that. Why would they need to do it again? Like, I mean, I know Death Battle's a business, but no matter who wins, they still get clout. Like, imagine if Aizen won, then more people probably would have watched it. Like, well, the same amount of people would have watched it and be like, oh my gosh, Aizen wins, Death Battle's actually thinking straight. Like, come on. So today I want to talk about Madara vs. Aizen in general, and how people just use stupid arguments to support Madara losing and Aizen winning. Because a lot of people tend to downplay Madara, like, a lot, for some odd, inconspicuous reason. Like, Madara's literally, like, big brain, 5 chest, big brain dude who literally faked his death twice and planned out an entire fucking war, like, 40 years into the future, and yet people still think that he's like some kind of dummy. Like, I get that Aizen is like smarter than him. Like, that's a given. Aizen is smarter than him, sure, but Madara is still nothing to scoff at. Like, my man's over here is big brain intelligence. Like, for real. So first of all, I have to talk about Bleach. Oh man. Now, Bleach is kind of a weird topic in debates because a lot of people tend to highball it a lot, and so I was like, okay, that's a problem. And so I was like, fine, I'm actually working on like a Bleach thing with friends. I'm not gonna try to specify it, but it is for coded, or multi-melee, I guess now. But uncoded is a Bleach episode. Whatever, doesn't really matter. And so, I'm not going to say what Bleach episode it is, and you guys will probably have to figure it out, but whatever. I haven't given you guys like an update in like mad long, so whatever. You guys know the first episode's going to be a Bleach episode. Metal vs. Bass is still part of the episode list, so don't sweat if you actually were excited for Metal vs. Bass. But back onto the main topic, Bleach in versus debating is just incredibly stupid, and just depends on what you believe, I guess, but even then, it just gets very, very convoluted. So let's start off with Aizen's kit first, and then we'll get into more stats once we get like later into the fight. So the first thing I want to talk about is Chakra and Ryatsu or Ryoku. Now, a lot of people tend to get mad that Chakra and Ryatsu are like put on the same plane together, but like, that's the point. It's a versus fight. You're comparing the two, and you would obviously have to compare Chakra to Ryatsu. And Ryatsu and Chakra both have spiritual things in it. Chakra having a portion of spiritual power in it, and Ryatsu just being spiritual. So Chakra and reality are still fairly similar. You don't even have to equalize the verse. They're still both fairly similar. Like, people are treating this as if, like, it's night and day. Like, bro, they're not that different. So, now we've gotten that out of the way. Now I have to talk about Genjutsu. Genjutsu in the Naruto series is pretty simple. Not entirely super simple, but pretty easy to understand. A lot of people tend to say that Genjutsu relies on chakra, which, for a time, I guess you could say it did. But, like, it's stated numerous times that Genjutsu, like, just affects your 5 senses and doesn't need chakra. There's also the Infinite Tsukuyomi as well, which doesn't use chakra either. There's people that were completely immune to Genjutsu and then they just got caught anyway. Like, etc, etc. So, like, I mean, what's there to not get? You don't need chakra in order to get affected by Genjutsu. So a lot of people got mad with Death Battle using the fact that Sasuke broke out like Itachi Tsukuyomi, which it was more than likely the fact that he was holding back, sure. But there are still multiple occasions where Sharingan has been stated to resist illusions. So, I mean, it still should pretty much nail the fact that Genjutsu should be able to resist illusions. They just used one scene that just didn't really fit, which I would understand. Now, we have to talk about Kyoka Suigetsu. Now, Kyoka, oh my god, I'm just gonna keep this in the video section. Kyoka Suigetsu is a illusion that Aizen puts over his opponent, which basically allows Aizen to take control over your 5 senses, including your 6th sense. Now, if you were listening, this should pretty much be very similar to Genjutsu. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure we all know where this is going. Both Genjutsu and Kyoka Suigetsu have been stated to take control of your opponent's 5 senses numerous times. I mean, it's fairly simple to say that Kyoka Suigetsu and Genjutsu are the same. They are literally stated to do the exact same thing. So now that we've established that Genjutsu and Kyoka Suigetsu are on the same plane, how does Madara and Aizen fare? Now, Madara obviously has a Sharingan which is stated to resist illusions. However, Aizen is never stated to resist illusions, like, at all. In fact, he got caught by Shinji's. It's a fake Katakura arc. That's what you call it. But whatever. I mean, come on. The only time that Aizen is ever, like, stated to, like, either resist or not resist is when he gets, like, caught in it. So, more than likely, Madara should probably get Aizen to Genjutsu and resist Kyoka Suigetsu. Not because, again, not only is Genjutsu very similar to Kyoka Suigetsu, like literally being stated to do the exact same thing, but on top of that, Madara's having the Sharingan, which is stated to resist illusions, and on top of that, he can just use Izanami, which just warps reality to the person's favor. And for people that are saying, but you lose an eye when you do that, Madara can simply just switch from the Sharingan to the Rinnegan. Even if you don't want to say he has it, he still has other Genjutsu. Aizen's kinda cut. Now, people are probably going to say, but what about stats? Well, most people agree that Madara should be stronger. I don't want to spoil too much for Bleach, because I'm working on it right now. But Bleach should very safely be Planet and Rella. If you want, you could say that it could get to FTL. But even if you want to scale them to FTL, Madara still gets higher in FTL than Aizen. So I never really explained why Madara is faster than Aizen, and I kind of just ramble on and on about saying how Madara is faster. So I'm going to explain why in just like this short little clip. Now first we have the Raikage statement. The Raikage statement is stated to be at the speed of light. Now, I've heard that people say that it's almost at the speed of light, however that's a mistranslation. And it actually is the speed of light. And Madara is, like, completely claps the Raikage, and the Raikage should probably be stronger than Killer Bee anyway. So, or at the very least, Madara should be stronger than Killer Bee. Madara should easily be able to blitz people who are SOL. There's also the fact that Naruto was able to casually dodge Raikage's punch, and he was also safe faster than light, and Madara also is higher than him. Madara casually just spits out light fangs, and overall, he should probably scale really high in FTL. Now, onto Bleach. Bleach is kind of like a bit iffy, because it's more or less like a lore series than like an actual feat series. And also people are like, oh yeah, it doesn't go boom like, you know, Naruto, but like, bro, they casually destroy mountains, dude. Like, Bleach gets big boom at times, okay? Like, they have some blatant strength feats. So while they're definitely a bit more available in strength, in speed it's where it's not the greatest. So there are specific set of rules that you have to use whenever you're talking about light speed attacks in order to make sure that your thing is actual light speed and not actually, well, you know, just not light speed. Now in Bleach, it doesn't really abide by these rules at all. For example, Cereals bend and like explode, Nagashio lifts up mass, etc, etc. So Bleach speed shouldn't really hit the light speed for attacks. There are some that get pretty fast, however, light speed isn't something that it should hit, per se, especially when it just doesn't abide with any of the light speed rules. Now, there are statements that, oh yeah, they're light, but if they don't abide by the rules, then you can't really use them. I mean, but the light thing kind of just abides by every rule. It doesn't bend, doesn't explode, doesn't destroy. It's just kind of there, and we don't really see any of it. Apart from, you know, just Naruto dodging it casually. So it shouldn't really be that big of a deal. So I think Madara's light thing should definitely be speed of light, because it not only does it abide by the rules, but it is literally saying the speed of light. So while the Cereals are just kind of say light and like they don't really abide by them at all. So for Aizen, I kind of don't want to spoil a lot of stuff because I'm gonna definitely go way more into depth with it on the Bleach episode I'm working on. But to summarize it pretty simply, Aizen should pretty much scale to most of the characters in terms of stats. Like, I mean, he's literally one of the strongest characters of Bleach. Ichigo barely dodges Gin's Bankai, which was around like Mach 500, I think it was stated to be. And along with the fact that Hikone in the Fear Your Own World was stated to only be able to be defeated by Ichigo, Aizen, Yuha, and I think Kenpachi. It was definitely Kenpachi in there. Ichigo and Aizen if you wanted to win. So, and in that series, Hikone had done a Rella feat where he had stacked multiple buffs onto himself and was at his all out and was going at like Rella to speed light. So at most, Aizen gets like FTL, whereas Madara should mid-def get FTL. And at most get like MFTL plus or something. Not MFTL plus, definitely not that fast, but MFTL. FTL plus, FTL to FTL plus for mid ball, and then like MFTL for like a high ball. Whereas Aizen should be Rella to FTL and maybe FTL to high ball. Now we have another argument which makes somewhat sense, and that is Aizen's immortal, so Madara shouldn't be able to kill him. For those that want to say, oh yeah, Aizen can only be defeated through seals, Madara can just seal him. Exactly. And consider the fact that Madara is both stronger and faster than him. I mean, I guess you can say that Aizen probably has resistance to sealing, which I guess would make sense. But there's also the Truth Seeking Orbs, which just erase you from existence. Which, yeah, obviously there's immortality, but then there's just erasing you from existence altogether. So, yeah, Aizen's not gonna survive that. Aizen has never resisted existence erasure, ever. Aizen's not gonna be able to handle that. He can't really do anything to Madara. He does have good arguments to win against Madara. You know, since they're both very even in stats, and you can definitely make arguments for both sides. However, Madara is just a more consistent option here. Also, there is the argument that, oh yeah, Aizen was able to get Yuha in Kyoku Suigetsu, and Yuha's a god. So like, yeah, but like, bro, Yuha just never shown any resistance to mind hacks at all. Sure, you can see into the future, but like, that doesn't really help you with mind hacks, like at all. It just helps you, sure, it can help you see into the future, like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna try to mind control me. But how are you gonna solve that? Without trying to get too into depth. So overall, Madara should still win. I just don't really like people saying that, oh yeah, Death Battle is biased, oh yeah, Death Battle is doing a horrible job, when there are actual people on the team that are doing a really good job with the research so far, and that people just are super salty and can't handle the fact that their favorite character won. Like, damn, bro, just deal with it. So that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed.